Alright guys, today's lesson is going to be on adding fractions, alright? The last time we had a lesson, we talked about basically fraction equivalency. So let's look at what we talked about the last time, and we're going to go into our standard for tonight's lesson. So last time we talked about how it's essentially fraction equivalency, standard 4 in F1. Explain why a fraction like AB is equivalent to another fraction by using visual fraction models with attention to how the number and the size of the parts differ, even though the two fractions themselves are the same size. What that's essentially saying, just a reminder, that we learned how to find equivalent fractions, how to find out if fractions are equivalent, how to simplify fractions. We did all this in the last lesson. Tonight, we're going to switch over to adding fractions. So tonight's standard 5 in F1, add and subtract fractions with unlike denominators. We did talk a little bit last time about adding like fractions, including mixed numbers, by replacing the given fractions with equivalent fractions. That is like we did last time when we were actually building on our fractions, finding equivalent fractions, in such a way to produce an equivalent sum or difference of fractions with like denominators. What this standard is saying is we're going to learn how to take fractions with unlike denominators, turn them into fractions with the same denominators or like denominators, and add them up. So you're going to be taking a new skill tonight to reflect what we did last time with adding fractions with the same denominator. Our essential question tonight is, how do you use adding and subtracting fractions in your daily life? Does anybody want to give me an idea of how you might use fractions in your everyday life? Or maybe in a career? I got one in mind, just went back to think of it.
Baking.
Baking, that's a great one. I said know what I was thinking about. I love that. You got to use measurements when you're baking. Does anyone else think of one that may work outside? Construction. You're going to use fractions a lot in baking, which I love that, and working outside in construction will not have to. So when you work in construction, you got to have measurements when you measure things and cut. Does anybody got any questions about our standard tonight and our essential question? All right. So what we're going to jump on over into our warm-up. I know y'all got paper ready to go. So tonight's warm-up, you use your debit card to buy each of your 3 kids. By the way, I got 3 kids now, in case you're wondering. You're going to use your debit card to buy each of your 3 kids an ice cream cone at $1.50 per cone, and to fill up your gas tank for $44. Your new balance in your checking account is $403.25. Here's my question. How much did you have before you bought the ice cream and the gas? I'll give you guys just a few seconds to go ahead and look over this, work it out, and then we'll go over it together. So just a reminder, 3 kids, each one $1.50 on an ice cream cone. Then you're filling up your gas tank, $44.50. Apparently it wasn't empty. And your new balance is $403.25. What was your original balance before you did all this? Alright, so I'm going to walk around and see how we're doing. If you have any questions, please let me know. Well, we're getting started. I think a lot of y'all remember what we talked about last time. Good job, guys. Start there. All right, looks like we're already getting some answers here. Do you already got an answer for me? All right, what you got, Maria?
$452.25.
$452.25. Those of you who are still working, still worth it, but let's talk about it. So, Maria, can you explain to me how you did this? If you like, if not,
Well, I added the $403.25 with the $44.50 and $150 3 times.
Excellent. So what she did is took her remaining balance, $403.25, added the $1.50 for each of the ice cream cones, so the $4.50, and then added her $44.50. All together, she had a starting balance of $452.25. Did everybody else get that? All right. Let's go ahead and transition into our next activity. In our next activity, we're going to do an activity, true or false. So, what this is, we're just going to look at this equation and we're going to find out, is it true? So I want you to look at this and let me know, do you think this equation is true or false? 1/2 equals 1/3 plus 1/6. Let me know what you think. You can use the visual models like we did last time. I'll give you a few seconds, then we will run over this real quick, and I'll draw your model like last time so you can see what it looks like. I see some of you are drawing models. I love that. Alright, so we already got it. Alright, so let's look at this real quick. So, the easiest way to look at this one is, we're going to draw a circle. Now, my thing should tell so we're going to do it above it. This first fraction is 1/2. So I'm going to draw me a circle with 1/2 in there. Okay? My second one is 1/3. I'm going to draw me another circle. I'm going to go down, and they're not the scale, they're not even, sorry. I'm going to draw 1/3. Next, I'm going to move this over to the other side, make it less confusing. And the last one, I'm going to do a circle with 6 parts. Should be 6, and I'm going to shade in 3. Now, if I were to combine these 2 circles, will they make half of a circle? Yes? Absolutely. So, to scale, I'm sorry, but if you add them, put these 2 together, you should have the same visual model of 1/2. So 1/3 plus 1/6 does equal 1/2. Now we're going to look at how do we actually do that in actual math and actually work it out. So everyone already should have your adding fraction sheet. Let's take a look at that, and we're going to translate what we know in the visual to actually working out in the problems. Let's jump on over here. So we're given a chart. In this chart, we're given 4 mixed numbers. We talked about mixed numbers are a combination of a whole number and a fraction. We need to combine all these and figure out what they are total. So let's look at these all together. And just like we talked about last time, if we have a whole number, we're going to add whole numbers at first. Kind of move them outside. Alright, so let's start with that. Let's go and add up these whole numbers. I got 9 plus 3. What does that give you, guys? 12 plus 1 more? 13 plus 8 more? 21. So I'm going to grab my 21. I'm going to shift it right over here. Come back to it. Right now, I'm going to choose my space carefully here. I'm going to use that spot, and I'm going to use down here too. So I'm going to take all my fractions, and let's just move them right up here. I got 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 3/5 plus 1/4. Okay? Now, what do you know about my denominators? I'm sorry? They're all different denominators, so we've got to find the like denominators. So to do that, we're going to do our least common denominator. We're going to do 4 and 5. So 4 times 1 is what? 4 times 2?
8.
4 times 3? 4 times 4? 4 times 5? Let's go down here and try 5. 5 times 5? 5 times 10? 2? Sorry. 5 times 3? 5 times 4? Looks like we already found it. 20 is our least common denominator. Alright, so now let's take our least common denominator and let's turn all our fractions into the same denominator. So I got 20 plus another 20 plus another 20 and another 20. Now, what are these fractions missing? Your numerator. So let's take what we know from our previous fractions and turn them into our new fractions. So what did I multiply 4 times to get to 20, Lindsay? 5. So when I do the bottom, I have to do the top. So 1 times, I did 5 times 5, so 1 times 5, 5. We're going to do that all the way across. 4 times what gave me 20 again?
5.
5. Alright. 5 times what gave me 20? 4. That's fine. So 4 times 3 is what? 12. And 4 times what gave me 20? 5. So 5 times 1 is what? Now we're going to add them all up. 5 plus 5 plus 12 plus 5 more. 27 over 20. Remember our whole number over here? We had 21 and 27 over 20. And then we talked about how we turn this into mixed numbers. So 20 goes into 27 how many times? And so that makes that 22 with 7 left over on top with 20 as my denominator. So this is part 1 of this lesson. We're going to continue going with subtracting mixed numbers. If you have any questions, let me know.